Well, welcome to Cover2TV. You might notice something slightly different. Jeno isn't wearing a hat. I think that's probably all the things that anyone will notice. We are now a podcast as well as a YouTube channel, so we hope that it sounds much better than it has sounded before.
And you can actually hear me, that's the other hope.
Or not. But I'm not sure. The one issue I have with these microphones, and I love these microphones, is I can't read the agenda because there's a big fucking microphone between me and the agenda, which is a little bit of an issue. So if you see me glancing down, YouTube viewers, and looking for my agenda, then apologies, that is what's happening. We can now see it. We're going to look back at some of the main talking points from week 6, Jeno. No Steele this week, as you can tell. We've replaced him with 2 microphones.
Upgrade.
Same amount of hair. So we're going to get into it. We're going to look back. And first of all, Jen, I want to know why you're an idiot.
Right, so I'm an idiot because about 2 weeks ago on this show I said the way to beat the Jaguars was to play great defence and run the ball and just keep it and don't let them have a chance to score chunk plays.
Which is right. That doesn't sound like you're an idiot.
Sounds perfect. And then when I was originally doing the pick-em, I had the Dallas Cowboys to win. And then a shit out decided to go with groupthink, went, nah, the Cowboys aren't beating the Jaguars, everyone will have the Jaguars, this will be a stupid pick, and changed it back to Jaguars. And I'm an idiot because, as we all know, the Cowboys absolutely blew them out, pretty much playing the way I said they should.
Yeah, so what you're basically telling me now, Jeno, is that yes, you are an idiot, but you're not an idiot. You're a very clever idiot.
No, I'm saying I'm worse. I'm saying I'm a bigger idiot for just being a fucking
shithouse.
Yeah, for being a shithouse, which is one of the things I hate the most, is a shithouse, and that's what I was. So I think that makes you a bigger idiot when you can see something and you go against yourself. Yes,
I agree. You are an idiot. And I'm an idiot because I've kind of thought the Oakland Raiders would turn this shit around. I've backed Gruden from sort of week 1 to week 6. I did start to wonder, last week whether the Raiders were actually going to do anything. This organisation, this franchise is in fucking turmoil at the moment, isn't it? I mean, Gruden didn't have the best roster in the world. He has taken the best player out of that roster, and it has completely fucked it, hasn't it?
Yeah, secretly, I also picked the Raiders to win this game, but I just thought that might be one of those weird London games where, like, the team that's terrible somehow gets the win because it's in a new city or whatever. Derek Carr's playing absolutely terrible. He threw 2 passes over 10 yards. That's the issue. That is incredible. I mean, even if I was in the NFL, I would attempt to throw the ball twice more than 10 yards, and I can only throw about 12.
I would hope I can throw the ball more than 12. It wouldn't be a tight spiral. I'll tell you that. It would very much not be a pretty pass if I was to throw it.
It'd be that Conor McGregor shot put. Have you seen that?
Yeah, exactly. But this is the thing. I mean, Melvin's talking about it, the cornerback for the Raiders, is how, like, they're asking him to do different things, and the talent on that roster. Amari Cooper, talented player 2 years ago. He was absolutely superb. The year before that, he was superb. Last year, not so much. This year, he doesn't look like the same player again. And you're looking at it and you're thinking, well, these experienced guys, they are experienced, but they're just old and slow, which is something that you can't be in the NFL.
This is what we had the warning. Like me and Steve were going against you. You saw the light. You thought you'd seen the light with the Gruden, but we were saying you're getting older and slower. That's the opposite of what you want to do in the NFL. If any sport is based on speed and youth, it's the NFL. And we're looking at there's players who, when they had the big run in, was it 2016 or 15?
2 years ago.
Yeah, when Derek Carr was just before he broke his leg, they had the best offensive line in the league.
Yeah.
That's not the case anymore. Amari Cooper looked like a good, I think he was a rookie then, and he looked like a good young player who's going to, step out. That's just never happened. He's just become a jag. He's barely even a number 1 receiver, and that's how he's playing right now. And I think by the end of the tenure, it was clear that Michael Crabtree was their best wide receiver. They got rid of him. He's now actually doing very well in Baltimore. And you're just seeing a lot of things, a lot of the roster moves. And then there's all the blaming. Gruden seems to quickly be blaming McKenzie upstairs. They're talking about taking Dedrick James, who eventually went to the Chargers, and he was like, well, I couldn't take a safety because they took a safety the last 2 years and I wasn't allowed to. And it's kind of like, that's bollocks, isn't it, mate?
Yeah, it is. And even you look at it and you start thinking to yourself, I think the rumours were that they wanted to get younger and they wanted to get faster and they wanted to get energetic and athletic when they get to Las Vegas. But the fact of the matter is, the youth that they've had, you know, high draft picks from the last 2 years, all right, not Gruden players, he's not giving them experience. So they might get young players in for when they play in Las Vegas, but these are going to be green, you know what I mean? And they're not going to have any time on the field. And at some point, what are you trying to do here? Are you going to coach up these young lads and prove that you're a good coach? Or are you just going to keep trying to teach an old dog new tricks, which is what seems to be happening at the moment, for them to not even be there in Las Vegas anyway? I mean, he's talked about how, you know, they're not tanking this season for a high draft pick. Well, I'm sorry, it kind of looks like you are. And it kind of looks like that those 52 players that were left after Mac was traded have gone, well, you've got no belief in us to win now, so what are we going to do?
Yeah, I think this is a long-term thing, but the project with Gruden is a long-term. He has a 10-year deal, which is just, again, ridiculous. But Belichick's not even on a 10-year deal.
Have you seen that website that's popped up from Oakland fans?
Yeah.
Amazing. So if you've not seen that, it's literally counting down the days until Gruden's contract is over.
Yeah, but I think, so what you've got to say is judge him now. I mean, if you give him a 10-year deal, if this season's a write-off, you need to stick by it and see what happens. Is there improvement next year? Is there improvement the third year? I think that's the way you've got to look at this with Gruden, because this year he's basically blown up the whole roster. He's trying to take over control of everything from the front office down, which, again, if you're going to give a guy a 10-year contract, you've basically said that's what we're willing to do for you. So I think that's the way they've got to go, and you've got to accept that this season's going to be a wash. There's nothing in that team where you go, I like that. There's not like a young defensive back group.
Derek Carr
like
would be the only one there
rush.
who you'd think to yourself, at least he's got the quarterback, and he's not playing. You know, Gruden's supposed to be an offensive guru. He's looking like a dinosaur at the moment. You know, he's not been able to get lads down the field, as you mentioned. Carr's throwing all these dink and dunk routes and short routes for 5-6 yards, and they're not getting the running game. Marshawn Lynch is injured at the moment. And one of the issues, you mentioned it earlier, Jeno, for me, is that O-line. And who's the offensive line coach? Tom Cable. And where was he last year? The Seattle Seahawks. And how was their O-line last year? Well, it was fucking shit.
It was one of those things where they always said, oh, our O-line's terrible. Tom Cable's working wonders with that O-line for it to even be this good. It's like, no, his job's to make that O-line play well. He's the reason. That's why, look at the Seahawks offensive line this year. It's actually much better. Seahawks are starting to actually run the ball again, something we haven't seen since Marshawn Lynch was in the Seahawks uniform. So, again, Tom Cable.
Looks like a bust, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So there we go. We've talked a little bit about it, and obviously the Seahawks beat them 27-3, and they didn't get a field goal until the last quarter. It was a pathetic attempt at coming over here and showing how to play NFL by the Oakland Raiders and Jon Gruden. Next, we're going to come on to one of your topics, and you wanted to talk, I think everybody wants to talk about the Patriots and the Chiefs. This game was maybe the AFC Championship game, a precursor to that. Fuck me, did it live up to the billing, like?
Yeah, it was a great game. I think it's a game where
you went a bit Steven Gerrard on that then. Yeah, you know, great game.
It's a great game. Oh,
that's terrible.
Yeah, that wasn't Steven Gerrard. That was Darren Farley.
Yeah, Darren Farley,
Steven Gerrard. But yeah, no. What happened was we seen two good teams going on. I think we've all established now defense isn't a thing in the NFL. Like, the worst thing that happened in that game was to them to throw 70 yards to Tyreek Hill to just have that bomb, because it was like, thanks lads, that means we get the ball back and we can just milk this clock and we will win this game. I think everyone felt like that when the 3 minutes come, Brady's got the ball, that there's only one winner here. So I think when you look at this game, you've got to break it down to the 3 defensive plays made. So you had the 2 picks, one by Dante Hauser and the other one by, I think it might have been Harmon, but don't quote me on that. And then Tom Brady's fumble. I think that 2 beat the 1. That's kind of how it went. And I don't know why Tom Brady was dancing around in the pocket for like 10 minutes. Just throw it away, mate. This is why
That's what you normally do. I don't know why you did it.
Yeah, this is like, you're usually the best at just going, not in here, I'll throw it away. Like, usually tells I just kept running around the pocket and I was like, oh no. Oh, and then he fumbled it. But I say, I think the difference was the 2 interceptions early in the game and that keeping it to field goals early. Yeah,
I think, you look at it and the Patriots stormed out to a good lead on the Chiefs, and the one for me was that Hightower interception, because that's Belichick's scheme, doing a young quarterback. And I think are they 24-0 against quarterbacks of Foxborough who were under the age of 25? Something ridiculous like that. I mean, Belichick knows how to beat rookies and you know, first-year starters and stuff, but that Hightower one, what impressed me is he told me that he was doing a blitz because he goes in and then you lose him and then he comes out, and both picks, I think I'm right in saying, were on routes to Travis Kelce, plays that were going to Travis Kelce. I think they both were, and I think that's probably something that, you know, Belichick's looked to try and do as well.
Well, obviously, I think looking at what the Patriots scheme was, it was take away Kelce, take away Tyreek Hill.
Yeah.
Now, taking away Kelce worked, taking away Tyreek Hill. In the first half did, in the second half didn't. He just went off because he was just running past people. He's that fast. It's what can you do kind of thing. I think schematically that's what we do going for, because I think what Patriots want you to do, and there's listen to Willie McGinnis talk about this, it's don't give up big plays, which we all know about, and it's say, can you go 10, 11 plays down the field? And what we found in the first half is they could, but they couldn't get in the end zone.
Yeah.
Second half, we were getting burnt by those chunk plays. Those chunk plays were happening more and more and more, and that was why I was worrying. That's why suddenly it had that big swing where Patriots went from being massively out in front to suddenly we were level, and it was just going to be who has the ball at the end. Yeah,
and it quite often comes down to it, but you always feel like Belichick puts his team into position so that it is them that has the ball. And you know, it's mad the way that it works out so often that he ends up with the ball with a couple of minutes to go, and you think, well, this is the GOAT about to do GOAT-ish things.
Yeah.
And I don't use that lightly. Tom Brady is by far and away the greatest of all time. Yeah. Like, you know, there are no other GOATs. Yeah. When it comes to the NFL,
it annoys me when people start using, well, it's either GOAT, it's either GOAT. There's only one GOAT. There can only be one. It literally means the greatest of all time. It means the ultimate, and we know it's Brady. And it's not because he's the most physically talented quarterback of all time, because we might be going on to him in a minute. But it's the other side of NFL. It's knowing when to check it down. It's knowing situational football. It's knowing how to eat the clock until you've only got to then run slightly to the left just so Gostkowski gets it on the right hash mark. It's just knowing that situational football and being able to read defences. He doesn't do it in the way Peyton Manning does, because it's not as much showmanship, which Manning used to admit was showmanship just to try and confuse the defence. But he reads the defence better than anyone else that's ever been in the league. And then it's that idea of, I've never beaten.
Well, he's literally seen everything now, hasn't he? He's in a position where he's talked himself on the Peter King podcast a year ago of, why would I quit now? There's nothing you can show me that I've not seen.
Yeah.
My body's still working.
That's usually what you hear old quarterbacks talk about. It's, I could see everything, but my body just couldn't do it anymore. Whereas Brady, you know, he's worked hard on his body to make sure that his body still can do it. And that's where we're at. And
let's talk a little bit about Pat Mahomes then. And you know, you mentioned it before. I think Belichick did scheme him particularly well first half. He was held for 14 of 23, 164 yards, 2 interceptions, a quarterback rating of 46.3. Second half, though, Mahomes, that offense, really got a grip on what Belichick was doing to them. Turned it around, 9 for 13, 188 yards, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions. Second half, quarterback rating of 151.4. And you could see almost the respect that Brady gave Mahomes after the game. I mean, Brady may have sprinted the most he'd ever sprinted just to go and speak to Mahomes.
Yeah, I think we're all quite all in on Mahomes. He's actually showing everything you want. He's a bit of a gunslinger, but he's got that.
And that second interception was probably a little bit something that he'll learn from throwing it back across the field.
But like, it's the way he extends the play and he's finding people. And again, you're in Andy Reid's offense. Andy Reid's offense makes most QBs look very, very good. It even made Michael Vick look good. And that's saying something when you're talking about throwing the ball. And I think we all think that Patrick Mahomes could be the next star of the NFL. You know, Brady is 41. Rodgers is like 36. Rodgers getting up in age, Breeze is 40. I think everyone's now ready, been waiting for who's going to be the next superstar. It's not quite going to be Andrew Luck because he's just not that type of person. So I think everyone's ready to crown Kermit the Frog.
I've been massively impressed with him. I really have. Like, I just think that the weapons that he's got make it so much easier. I mean, Hunt went for about 185 scrimmage yards.
That is what I'd say the schematically thing was. They got Hunt much more involved. And once they got Hunt much more involved, then you can't take... Then that takes someone out of the safety help, and then that brings someone down. That's when Kelce started running away from people. It was that bringing Hunt... Because they just got too many weapons for you to take them all away. It's like you can make them play left-handed, But we've seen Mahomes throw touchdown passes with his left hand. So yeah. Like, it's not that, when you got that many players, it's hard to completely take everything away.
And you look at it, and I wonder whether the game gone slightly differently. So I've got the quarter scores in front of me here. You know, the Patriots get 10 in the first quarter, the Chiefs 6. The Patriots get 14 in the second quarter, the Chiefs 3. Now, I think if I remember, I was looking at the rushing yards, and Hunt didn't have a lot of attempts. He was rushing for about, on average, about 8 yards an attempt. Maybe you're talking 9 rushing attempts. Had they not fallen behind earlier, I do feel it could have been a completely different game, because Reed could have leaned on Hunt a little bit more. But Patriots did what they needed to do, and they got it into passing situations for the Chiefs, and you have to, because ultimately you kind of have to bank on Brady scoring touchdowns, because that's what he's done his entire career, isn't it?
Yeah, offensively, like, they can try and kill the clock against the Patriots. I think that's probably the way we talk about how to beat the Patriots. That's how the Jaguars done it. They just kept killing the clock and not let Brady on the field, and and that's what the Patriots basically did to them. Yeah. And so in this NFL, we might actually look again more about, is scoring as quickly as possible the right thing, because it's killing your game plan by the fact of just giving the ball back, and then they're just going to march down the field slowly and methodically to eat in all the clock, and that's kind of what happens in this game. So I'm not sure. I think they're going to look at more Hunt. If we play them in the playoffs, I think they're going to use a lot more of Hunt, because I think that's really what opened the game up. And it was interesting again when I was listening to William McGinnis. He was saying that was the play that Patriots need to stop. He said, you know, you need to take Hunt and Tyreek Hill away, whereas the Patriots went for Kelsey and Hill. So it's just quite interesting what the adjustments would be if they lent more on Hunt. Yeah,
I do think it would be maybe a different game, but again, you know, you've got to get the first score in that regard. If the Patriots march down the field and score a touchdown, you've either got to stick with it, and they were in a position where they weren't able to do that. So we'll move on to your next topic then, and it's Giants, Eagles, and go on, well, let's you talk about it. First of all, the Eagles smashed the Giants by 34 to 30.
Yeah, this was another one why I'm an idiot. I thought the Giants might show something this game. But this isn't really this about the Giants as a franchise, and it's come out this week that the Giants owner, is it Mora, has been blaming Odell Beckham, saying, you know, he needs to be more of a leader. We've paid him all this money. He's not doing things we want him to do, and he's put a lot of blame on Odell Beckham. And it's like, are you missing the big black hole that is your offense? Because it's coming from your quarterback. Your quarterback can't throw the ball. I know people saying the offensive line is terrible. When your quarterback wants to run 9 yards backwards and he's not willing to step up in the pocket and allow pass rushers to run behind him and gets moved away by your tackles, they've got no chance. The whole problem is you decided this season to take Saquon Barkley, which, fine, Saquon Barkley is incredible. So if you're thinking maybe you get a QB next year when there's going to be less QB needy teams, so you don't have to panic as much, that makes sense if that's your long-term thinking. But for you to then try and blame it on Odell Beckham's crybaby attitude, which he has, I'm not defending Odell Beckham's attitude. It annoys me like it annoys everyone else in the NFL. But that's not the reason why your team isn't winning. No, your team isn't winning because you're hamstrung by the quarterback who is clearly finished.
Yeah, I mean, you know, you did say start of the season that Nate Solder wouldn't solve that pass rush. You know, you said he was a good run blocker and stuff like that. But for me, everything that when the Giants get going, everything's going through Beckham, and I don't mean every pass is going to Odell Beckham and he's getting all of the yards. What I mean by that is if Odell Beckham scores a touchdown, it lifts everybody, but he's not a leader in the same way as, like, he's not your natural leader, is he? But when he's firing and he's involved in the game, everybody's levels kind of come up. But I do think you're right. I think, you know, Eli Manning's play this season, last season, it's been particularly poor. But this season, he looks like even a shadow of what he was last season. And he's got one of the best running backs. Maybe a top 3 running back. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe let's say top 5. He's got one of the best. He's got one of the top 5 wide receivers as well. He's got the weapons, and I don't think Sherlin Shepard's a bad player, by the way. No. I think he's a great wide receiver. Not great. He's a good wide receiver number 2.
He's a very good number 2. I think you look at it in a league where look what Andrew Luck's got around him. Andrew Luck's got almost nothing. Got a shoulder that's hanging off. Yeah, he's still throwing for 400 yards a game. It's a league where defenses can't stop anyone except they can stop the Giants. And the reason why you can stop the Giants is because Eli Manning is not willing to throw it downfield. the weapons are there. With those weapons, I mean, you look at Saquon Barkley, I mentioned to you, he's like a boxer, he's like a Ricky Hatton. He'll take 2 negative plays because he knows he's going to bust for 90 yards and absolutely take over the game. That's who you've got as your running back. I don't think the offensive line is bad at blocking, at run blocking. I don't think it's just not great at pass block, which is what Nate Solder is, which is what, you know, I try to warn people. But I'm got a quarterback who can't control the game and who does not seem to want or have the ability to stay in the pocket and actually step up into the pocket and let the offensive line protect them. You don't have a chance in the NFL. You can't win that way, I don't think. And trying to stick by the quarterback, I think we're seeing more and more why he got benched for Geno Smith. Geno Smith was outperforming him. That's why they benched him. It was just everyone knew Geno Smith wasn't a viable quarterback either. So I think that's the black hole. I think Odell Beckham, because he's the superstar, seems to get too much blame. I think it's too easy to blame the guy who's very flash, very showman.
Ultimately, he doesn't have the ball every play.
Yeah.
And there's one guy that does.
Yeah.
And that's Eli Manning. And maybe we should all be looking at that a little bit more. And, you know, I know Pat Shermer well from the last year, and he managed to get 3 quarterbacks over the last couple of years playing to a high level. 3 quarterbacks who hadn't the skill set of a peak Eli Manning as well. Like, I'm surprised that offense just, it's not there yet. It's not there yet, and there's one reason why, and I think he is standing in the middle of it all. Tell you who's got a great quarterback. What a shit segue. Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers, even shitter when you say his name rather than the team. The Green Bay Packers, Chris, have a great quarterback, and his name is Aaron Rodgers. But listen, I know he is probably one of the top performing quarterbacks in this league, you know. But in that game against the San Francisco 49ers, not enough has been said for me about how terrible the 49ers defended that last drive. I mean, it was pathetic.
It's just, why aren't you playing boundary defense? The one thing you need to be telling your defense at that time is, do not let them get out of bounds. And they were catching it with no one near them, out of bounds. And we talk about the Packers wide receivers, they're all good, but they're not that great at separation. But they were having like 3 yards of separation to be able to catch it and step out of bounds. It was an abysmal defense. 19
seconds left. They got two plays off. Got about 30 odd yards out of it in 8 seconds. Now, if you line you do what you want, and what everybody thinks that should have been done, and what Robert Saleh's defense should have done, and that is protect those boundaries, then they may not get another playoff, or you might. I don't know. What did they say? It's about 16 seconds to get your field goal team on. If you keep them inside, can they get off after with 19 ticks left on the clock, no timeouts? Can they get a playoff down the middle and get the field goal team on and get it kicked off before the play clock's done? I don't think they can. And Mason Crosby, it was difficult with the pressures of last week anyway. He stepped up in this game, Mason Crosby, and was absolutely superb in it, and he obviously kicks the winning field goal. But rushing on Mason Crosby after that last week, and he's got about 3 seconds or something, he misses that kick anyway, even if they get it off.
There's an argument for that. I think the argument of you're adding so much pressure because he's only got so little time, because again, you're trying to get there, spike it, run the field goal. It's a very difficult thing to do. I just don't understand the defense of allowing this to happen. It made no sense to me. I mean, no one's talking about 49ers being the Baltimore Ravens defense, but this was simple situational football of, you can't let them. Was it 3 catches in a row where they went out of bounds? You can't let that happen. You just can't. And I mean, I don't want to get away from Rodgers, because I've said
he took what the defense gave him.
Yeah, he took what the
and that's what the great quarterbacks do.
Gave him, and also, as I said, he's probably the most physically talented quarterback I've ever seen. I mean, even in that first play, that got all the junk yards, which was just a run up the gut for like
30 odd or 20 odd.
20 yards. You know what I mean? His hamstring looks fine. No other quarterback at the top quarterbacks I think can do that, because I think the top ones are Brady and Breeze. I don't think any of them can do that except Rodgers. But you can't you have to play defense that keeps people in bounds, make a tackle in the centre of the field, and then make them have to try and get on the pitch and kick a rush field goal, which you never know what Mason Crosby's mental state's going to be, because we know kickers, it's all mental. Most of them, if you just lined them up and said to them, boot it for 50 yards, because you just keep doing it consistently. But it's that coming on the pitch, having to make sure the snap's right, things right, and then they get that one shot at it. It's not like they have to hit 4 or 5. They get one chance. If you make that in a rush situation, he's much less likely to be able to hit that than when he's got all the time in the world because you've allowed them to get out of bounds.
That's it. Like, and listen, you know, I thought Shanahan called a great game for the most part, but when it got down to the fourth quarter, there's about a minute left in the game. It's 2nd and 3. You've been running for about 8 yards a rushing attempt. They've not been able to stop your run in any way, shape or form, and you throw it on 2nd and 3 incomplete. That baffled me, and then you'd end up having to throw it on 3rd and 3 because of that, even though I don't think you do. And then the incompletion comes from Bethard, where he's just underthrown the ball. Like,
yeah, that was another thing. Why are you going deep there? Why are you throwing on 3rd and 3? Why were you throwing it deep? That didn't make sense to me. Just take the most defenses will give you the 3-yard pass, or maybe the 2-yard pass, and you need to just spin round and dive for it. That seems to be the play to go for. I didn't get why they took a shot then. That just didn't make sense to me.
No, it's mad because, yeah, you're looking at probably, I don't know, minute and a half left, something like that. What's the end game here? You score, you've just given the best quarterback in the league, give or take, a minute and a half to go down the field and score again.
You've got the timeouts.
Yeah, you've got the timeouts. You've got the ball. You
milk the clock and slowly get up the field.
And get a field goal. Yeah. And you're done.
So I didn't get that. I didn't get why. I mean, the second was just a bad pass play. I mean, I don't really like going, oh, he should have run it, he should have passed it. I think they should have run it at least one of those 2 attempts, but I don't really like second guessing that because we've seen what Kyle Shanahan is, and he goes for it. If he believes that he can beat you passing, he will beat you passing, especially if the running games maybe stop working or anything like that. But don't be taking your shot on 3rd and 3. Take your shot on 2nd down. 3rd down, just make sure you get that 3rd down so that Rodgers doesn't have any time to come back.
And that's it for me. It was absolutely mental. So they're the main topics of the week. We'll get into our weekly pick-em now. I'm just going to get it up on my phone. There is one person that needs to do a dance this week who happens to not be here.
I mean, see, we've all owned up to it and we've done our dances.
I tried to do some kind of a handstand dance last week.
Yeah, I did. I watched. I was not sure what you were doing.
I don't really know if it was a dance, but I went for it. And you've got to own this shit. Ask Beyonce. So
you did nearly kill Steve. It was
I didn't see his face, and I didn't watch it back. I will watch that back to see what his face was like. I can imagine there was confusion.
A bit of sexual attraction.
Oh, you think? Poor lad, nearly got fucking ran over by my ass. So we're going to get into it. Week 7 starts with a great game on Fox. Friday morning, 1:20 AM for us. I probably won't be staying up for this one. It's the Broncos at the Cardinals. 2-4 Broncos, 1-5 Cardinals. I'll go first. I'm going to pick the Broncos because the Cardinals are shit.
I'm going to pick the Cardinals because they're at home. That's it. When 2 shit teams play at home, that's it. And maybe you get a bit of Rosen going, you should have picked me instead of Bradley Chubb. Like, you need a quarterback. Case Keenum shit. Or maybe they'll swap and put in Kelly, which I think is what everyone kind of wants, just to see what he is. But that's it. Just maybe Rosen kind of has that game of, you should have taken me, you desperately need the quarterback and turned it down.
Interesting. Okay. Tennessee Titans 3-3 at the 4-2 LA Chargers, who are on a bit of a march at the moment.
I'm going to go Chargers. I'm done with the Titans. Yeah, just Chargers actually playing very well. They're running the ball excellently. Melvin Gordon and Eckler.
The two of them together are probably the best.
They're actually getting more yards than Kamara and Ingram did last year, which is something to look out for. And also Williams just catching above 7 Brown players, just catching after that. That was an incredible play. Chargers are quietly being quite good. However, they have just beat really bad teams, so we're not totally sure.
I just don't think the Titans can stop that running attack, to be honest with you. I mean, I've got Gordon in one of my fantasy leagues. My word. I mean, the value I got out of that pick. I mean, I probably got him top end of the 2nd round, something like that. And the points that he's racking up for me this season has been amazing. And I picked up Eckler in about the 7th round in another one or something like that. And he's getting points every single week for me. It's been fantastic, actually. In fact, this week was probably the first time in about 2 years where all 3 of my fantasy teams won on the same week.
I haven't really paid much attention to fantasy this year. And
how are you doing in the Cover2 one? I know what you did 3 weeks ago. You got snotted by me. And then the week after, I snotted Steve. It was a very satisfying 2 weeks.
I don't know. I'm middle of the road in that. In one of the ones I used to care about, I'm last. I've lost every game. Dalvin Cook just hasn't worked out for
No.
me. Has not. There's a lot of people who I had big expectations for and none of them worked, and there's been times when I've just forgot, like I didn't even notice I had Evan Ingram who's been injured since like week 1 or whatever, so I just haven't paid any attention. Once I won that league, that was it then. I just rested on my laurels.
Absolute fucking, what's that when you win the Super Bowl and you just fucking shit the next season?
Yeah, Super Bowl hangover.
A Super Bowl hangover. That's what Geno's had in fantasy football. I didn't know it goes to this level of the sport, but it does.
It goes high. It goes 2 years now.
Amazing. Interesting game actually for you, because it's your Patriots at 4-2 versus the Chicago Bears, who are now 3-2 and heading up our division, with the best defense in our division probably at the moment. Anyway, you know, the Vikings defense hasn't quite been there. Do you think they can beat the Patriots with Trubisky at quarterback?
I think they could. I think they got the defense to beat the Patriots. I don't think they will, because I don't think any of us are convinced by Trubisky. I mean, even when he threw the 6 touchdowns, most of them were shovel passes. They were half-a-yard throws. I don't see him being able to do that against the Patriots.
Can the Patriots stop their running game? Because this is 2 young rookies who look bloody good at the moment.
I'm not sure. I don't think they can. I think red zone offense is what wins games. I don't think their red zone offense is going to be good enough. I think there's going to be a lot more field goals where Patriots get touchdowns.
Over under? What would you give Patriots?
I think we'll win by 7.
7. Okay. I'm picking Patriots as well. I think that I'm back on the maybe Trubisky's going to be good train. I stepped off, picked up the next one when it came into the station, and I'm back on it after a week. I like this young Bears side, to be honest with you. You know, the defense is fucking tremendous, which I always love, good defenses, and the offense has got some decent little parts there to start and build on.
It's a much better team than I expected. I didn't expect anything from them, and then suddenly they just getting that Khalil Mack. It stopped them from having a good defense instead of having a great defense by today's NFL standard. I think that's the difference. They took that blue chip player, which has just raised everyone around them, because now there's someone that offenses need to worry about.
Let's have a conversation about the defenses. I think, you know, we kind of skirted around it in the first part of the show, Geno, but there's not many good ones this time around. The Bears are probably looking like the best defense in the league.
The Ravens are the best.
The Ravens, sorry, yeah, I'd forgotten about the Ravens. Of course they are. Other than that, I think probably there's probably about, on points per game, about 3-4 points difference between the Ravens and someone like the Bears as well. There's a huge gap between 1 and 2 there.
It's basically, I don't think it's I think it's the Cowboys are actually number 2, not the Bears. But we're seeing this is what the rules have wanted. But when you listen to someone like Ike Taylor talking, he always talked about how NFL defenses don't really come together until after October. They don't come together until after all the film's out there. All right, do you know what this is? Do you know what this look now is in fly sweep? Do you know what this
Maurice Jones-Drew, this was, I think, rather than Ike Taylor. At least I've heard Maurice Jones-Drew say it. But they are mates, and they're on the same podcast, so maybe.
Well, they used to be. Ike Taylor's disappeared because of...
Thankfully, he wasn't very good.
I liked him, then you found out what he's like as a person, and, you know, sadly, that's a lot of people, and there's nothing we can do about that. But they're talking about it, and I think as well, William against us, the Patriots defense, and he just says it's just red zone defense and don't give up big plays. The belief was always that quarterbacks can't go 10 plays down the field and not make a mistake by fumbling or getting it picked off, and that's the kind of way the defense has gone in the NFL now. I think we all just need to get used to it. I don't think it's going to change.
I'm not sure it's quite as much of an epidemic as this season has shown us so far. I do think there are a couple of these. I think the Vikings defense has still got the ability to step up. I think Jacksonville Jaguars defense has still got the ability to step up and prove. Then they're not going to get to the levels maybe of last season, certainly not in points per game, because that's just been fucked for the Jaguars and the Vikings early on in the season. But I do feel like, you know, week 8 comes along, exactly what Ike Taylor and Jones-Drew have talked about in the past, where they've seen everything, as you say, and they'll start to step up. And once that's all on tape, they'll get better and they'll get stronger. And then, in fact, I was definitely listening to Maurice Jones-Drew talking about it, because he made a really great point, and sorry to reiterate something somebody else has said, But he was talking about the weather makes a big difference as well. When it starts to get cold in a lot of these states around America, then it makes it harder to throw the football first and foremost, which you start to see these running games getting going and the good run stoppers start to get involved, and it's going to be a little bit different, I think he was saying, for someone like the LA Rams where the sun's shining fucking 365 days a year, but in other cold places, and you know, non and domes obviously don't count in this as well, it does get more difficult for offenses.
This is what we've always talked about, why seems like the Chargers have never been Super Bowl contenders, because when they get sent outside over onto the east, they tend to lose because they can't handle the weather, because like the Coryell offense doesn't work anymore. Dan Fouts couldn't just throw the ball around the world because it's not necessarily the cold, it's the wind. Wind's what stops them being able to really get that nice tight spiral on the ball, or absolute heavy rain so the ball starts sinking or deflating.
Okay, so we'll move on then. Bills at the Colts, 2-4 Bills, 1-5 Colts. Where are you going with this one, Jan?
I'm going Colts. I think
I have too.
Andrew Luck's playing a lot better than what people
considering
realise.
Considering his options, he's doing very well. He's changed his game. He's not, you know, he's not going to throw 40-yard passes anymore. But that offense is starting to motor a little bit, isn't it?
It's starting to go. I think the defense isn't as bad as it usually we say with the Colts, and this Bills team are just, I think they're garbage. I know they've won 2 games, they'll probably win a few more, but I still think they're garbage.
Okay, Texans at Jaguars, both 3-3. Jaguars have been absolutely snotted 2 games on the bounce. In both of those games, they've got away from the running game, and the running game's not as good as it normally would be because Leonard Fournette's not there, although actually that might be incorrect at the same time. But when teams are forcing Blake Bortles to throw the football, Blake Bortles has been making mistakes and this Jaguars team hasn't ticked. They need to stop early and score early, and they are built for protecting a lead, and that's what the Jaguars haven't been able to do. All that being said, where are you going with this one?
I'm still going Jaguars, because I know I've just said the way to beat them is good defense and running the ball. That's where I'm not sure the Texans are very good at running the ball. That's where I'm still going Jaguars because I believe in them. But this game could be 3-3. I mean,
just like the records going into it. I struggled with this one, and I've initially picked the Houston Texans. I'm not going to be a shithouse. I'm going to stick with my pick of the Houston Texans and nearly shithoused it then. Yeah. Detroit at Miami.
Detroit. I don't rate Miami at all. And
but what a great performance from their quarterback last week.
You believe in Brock?
I don't believe in Brock Osweiler.
No. I mean, to be fair, he's playing better than what Tannehill did. I mean, against the Patriots, when he came in, he played better than Tannehill. So, but I think the Lions have got 2 really good wins. They beat the Packers and the Patriots. So, are they a bad team? Are they a bad good team? Are they just a bad team who just situationally was right for 2 teams in the league? I don't know. But I just believe in them more than I believe in the Dolphins.
Yeah, I don't know if you can... I don't know if I can truly... If Brock Osweiler... I can't back Brock Osweiler, basically, is where I'm going with this one. So I'm going to go with the Lions. I am going to back my Vikings over the New York Jets because we're better than they are.
Yeah, I'm going to back the Vikings as well.
Panthers at Eagles.
Who's at home?
Eagles.
That's a tough game, that. I'm going to go Eagles because they're at home, but I'm not, even in my voice, you can tell I'm just not confident by that pick.
Yeah, I think I'm right in saying the Panthers are coming off a bye week, are they?
No, they got beat by Washington Redskins.
Oh yeah, they did. Apologies, yeah. I've got fucking hell. I'm on phillips.co.uk. Bloody shit advert on this pick of mine. They just take that half the screen off you.
Yeah,
it's like nice one, mate.
Changed it again so they can do that. It's our NFL. You've made it much more unusual.
So I've gone Eagles. I've backed the home team. Although I'm going to change that. I'm going to back the Browns at the Buccaneers. No, I'm not, because Jameis Winston's boss. I'm going to pick the Buccaneers over the Browns.
Do you want to say that again?
I was going to... I'm not going to say the boss thing again. That
was what I wanted. Like Jameis Winston's boss. Are we sure?
He's not boss, but he's good enough to beat the Browns. I'm going to say.
I'm going Browns.
Okay. Saints are going to beat the Ravens. Have that. At Ravens.
That's another hard one. I'm gonna go Ravens because it's outside.
Okay, I'm gonna go the Saints because we don't know what Saints offense is gonna turn up, and if we don't know what Saints offense is gonna turn up, I don't think Baltimore know what Saints offense is gonna turn up. And what I mean by that is we saw last week Ingram return and Kamara basically giving the night off. They've got so many fucking weapons. The Breeze can throw the ball every play if he needs to. Ingram can run the ball. Kamara can run the ball. Kamara can catch the ball at the backfield. I just think there's too many weapons there for a team to stop, even if you are the best defense in the league.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if the Saints win this game. I had Saints going to the AFC Championship, and I'm pretty confident in that pick.
Okay. Dallas Cowboys at the Washington Redskins, 3-3 versus 3-2.
Washington Redskins. They're just a mediocre team who will beat bad teams, and they'll just catch teams off guard because people aren't paying attention to them, but then he'll also get smacked by other teams. Okay,
I picked exactly the same. I've picked the Rams to go 7-0 over the 49ers. Yeah. And this is an interesting one. The 4-2 Bengals versus the 5-1 Chiefs at the Chiefs.
I'm going Chiefs. I'm sick of the Bengals. Again, the one time I went, all right, I'll be in on the Bengals this time. They go and play the Steelers and they get beat, and they just remind me that they can't beat any big teams, that they are terrible. And people blame Andy Dalton, but he executed 2 perfect 2-minute drills.
Who are you blaming?
I wonder.
You've never blamed this man before, have you, Jono?
Well, Vontae's perfect. You can blame him.
Yeah, you can.
You know. And then the guy who lets Vontae's perfect do Vontae's perfect things, Marvin Lewis. Yeah. This is why this team's just stuck in mediocrity, because they've got a mediocre coach.
Okay, I've backed the Chiefs as well. And then I think this one's probably quite easy as well. New York Giants at the Atlanta Falcons. The 2-4 Falcons. The best 2-4 team in the league, maybe?
The best offensive 2-4 team in the league. They've probably got the worst defense in the league, maybe.
Still about a million injuries.
Yeah, so, I mean, who else is getting injured this week? But I'm still going the Falcons. They're better than the Giants.
Yeah, I agree with that one. So yeah, get involved if you're not involved. If you can get involved in the weekly pick'em, of course. We're not doing very well this season.
No, I think me and you were like top 3 last season, and this season we're second.
I'm like 17th or something. I'm like 100 odd points behind somebody.
I think we are.
It's terrible. Although more people have got in the league, we may have got a false sense of security last season because there was about 6 of us, and then the fact that we were like number 2 and 3.
There was definitely
there was 2 pages last year.
Yeah, and now I think there's 3, so there's next to page. Well, I suppose that's it. We just got 10 new people who were better than us.
Where's Harshall doing? Did Harshall win it last year?
No, he didn't. It was someone. It was Lee.
Lee Reynolds, maybe.
Harshall fell off, and then this season I had luck for him. It's not good, is it, mate, Harshall?
Where you going, lad? Where you going?
What's going on? I am looking at you, mate, and you're like 3rd page.
3rd page, yeah. 3rd page prick. only messing. I was just literally the only person to comment on every video. Don't leave us, mate. And just because we're doing it as a podcast, please still comment on the video.
And you'll rate the podcast as well.
Of course, if you can 5-star rate it on iTunes, that will help us, break the top 10,000 podcasts, which I'm sure that this is about the level of this podcast at the moment. But it has been enjoyable. It hasn't been too in your face, has it, Jano? Have you enjoyed using the new mics?
Yeah, I think people will actually hear me for once.
That's probably good. Or maybe not. Who knows? Don't forget to like the video if you watch it on YouTube. Please get involved. Share it on your social pages, channels, whatever. You know what I mean? Like it.
Just force your mate to watch it.
There you go. Force your mate to watch it. Sounds. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Ta-ra.